Louis Vuitton Symphony is one of the most hyped fragrances from the entire brand. The bottle design and presentation are absolutely stunning, and the fragrance is top notch as well. And it really is a simple yet mass appealing fragrance that features citrus notes and ginger, so it's really fresh, clean, smells amazing, and it's one that's easy to love. Now, knowing all that, you may ask, what's not to like? Well, the price. It has a retail price of just under 600 US dollars. Yes, you heard that correct. But have no fear, I got y'all back. If you love that scent profile, you want something that's similar for about a tenth of the price, Jo Milano's Game of Spades Emerald. Let's talk about it. YouTube family, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing well. My name is Ty. Here I primarily talk about fragrances, but we also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well. So primary purpose is to help you show up as your best self consistently, day in and day out, by looking good, smelling good, and feeling good. Y'all know the vibes, man. So do me a favor. If you're interested in those type of videos or that type of content, consider subscribing below. Then make sure you hit the bell so you can stay notified anytime I post any new content. Okay, let's get things kicked off with the presentation, and we'll start with the box. Now, I don't love this box. I'll be honest. I really don't like any of the Jo Milano Game of Spades. I think it's their Diamond series, it's called. The ones that have the actual, spade on top instead of the other cap. I think it's called their Diamond series. But nonetheless, because those bottles and those boxes specifically, they feature this sort of glittery, feel on the box, and you can kind of see it here on camera, but I really don't like it because it kind of gets on your hand. That glitter gets on your hand and can get on surfaces based on where you place the bottle. So not a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker in any way for me, but don't love the box for that reason specifically, and figured I'd call it out. However, do love the color scheme of the box, and that leads us over to the actual bottle, which I think is just beautiful. Green is one of my favorite colors. Those gold accents on the bottle, I think it just plays really well with the green. Really clean looking bottle here. And of course, Jo Milano has one of the best pressurized atomizers in the game. Check it out here. You can see just top notch, man. Looks really good. And like I said, really contributes to that high quality feel, like I said, the bottle being, more heavy, feels substantial, really good pressurized atomizer. So all in all, presentation's on point minus the box. But as you all know, presentation only matters so much. How does this one actually smell? So I've been testing this one for the past couple days, y'all, and I'm gonna get a fresh spray on here. More so to get in the air, just to smell a little bit, because this is, like many fragrances, right? This is one of the fragrances that the test strip isn't what you actually get, and that's a good thing, right? Because on a test strip, I do like this one, I do enjoy it, but the citruses, they aren't super juicy and like super refreshing, right? But much different on skin, right? So like I said, I've been wearing this the past couple days. Get another spray on skin here just to get a little bit more accurate in terms of what it actually smells like, right? So opens up, you definitely get a heavy dose of those citruses, right? So you get grapefruit, you get bergamot, but you also get an orange, which is probably, to me, comes off as like a mandarin orange. And I say that because, as you all know, love-hate relationship with citrus fragrances, but I do really enjoy this one. I think it's because it has that mix of kind of tart, more sharp, citruses with something a little sweeter like orange or mandarin. So smells really good in the opening blast of that citrus that really is just starting to show throughout. But about 10-15 minutes in, you do start to get a light, kind of fresh floral touch. And that's something I really appreciate, right? I think it helps to round it out a bit, give it a little bit of depth, and take a little bit of the focus off the citrus. But again, still very citrus dominant. I do also get a little bit of ginger, but I'd say it's more of an afterthought, right? And it's just more of an additional pop that kind of, contributes to the freshness, but not necessarily, any spice or anything like that. To me, like I said, it's more of a zing or a pop of freshness that just smells really good. Overall, this is a citrus dominant fragrance. It's all about the citruses in here, but it does also give off a slight fruity feel as well, kind of in addition to those citruses. And again, you have that kind of soft floral freshness clean musk that kind of help round it out, give it some depth, and just a pop of, I'd say, that ginger that just kind of, you know, adds to the freshness as well and gives it a little zing. Overall, in comparison to the original, now I don't own the original, but live very close to the mall, and the mall that I live close to does have a Louis Vuitton store in it. So I've become very familiar with a lot of the fragrances in there, but talking about Symphony specifically, I am familiar with that scent profile. Now, though I haven't done a side-by-side comparison, I'd say Game of Spades Emerald is very close to the original. I'd say the only difference that I really pick up, if any, I feel like the ginger might have been a little bit more prominent in the original, but outside of that, like I said, that's a small and minor difference, especially considering the price. And again, one of those things where if you're looking for it, or in my case, you know, kind of looking to pinpoint something, can probably, you know, pick that out. But in the ear to, you know, most people that you're going to come across, in my opinion, very, very similar. Okay, let's move into performance and versatility, starting with performance. And like many of my Jo Milano fragrances, this one seems to be on par in terms of performance, seems to be a very solid performer. Again, I've only tested for a couple days, so I don't want to give a full-blown review in terms of performance, but have easily gotten kind of between that 6 and 8 hour mark in terms of longevity, which I think is very good for a fragrance that's based around citruses and an overall fresh fragrance, right? And for context, the first day that I got this one in, sprayed it on skin, was moving around doing different things. Girlfriend gave me a compliment about 2 hours after I had this one on. So again, definitely seems like one that, you know, is working, projects pretty well for the first few hours, pretty good. And overall, like I said, longevity, definitely on par with what you would want from a citrus or fresh fragrance. And in terms of compliments, again, got the one from my girlfriend, but I haven't wore this, you know, out in the public yet. But based on the scent profile and the performance, I do feel like this one is going to be one that, you know, a lot of people enjoy, and is definitely going to lead to kind of that positive attention, positive reactions, and overall some compliments. And moving into versatility, I think this one is very versatile, starting with it being a unisex fragrance. I think men and women alike will really enjoy this one. Again, fresh, clean, easygoing, inoffensive even, I'd say. So very, you know, versatile, I'd say, from that perspective. And in terms of seasons or situations, again, since it has that citrusy sort of fresh, clean feel, technically there's never a bad time to wear this, right? You can wear this in any season for any, you know, reason or occasion, because it's never a bad time to smell, you know, fresh and clean. But for me personally, I think, you know, this one would be best, or I would probably wear it most in those warm weather situations, right? So spring, summer, and even more specifically, it's top of mind because I recently did a video on it, but specifically those high heat situations, right? Because there aren't many fragrances that I think work extremely well in those situations. I think this is one that definitely would, right? Because it has that, you know, citrusy, like I said, fresh, clean feel. It's present without ever doing too much. And I think that's something that definitely, you know, fits the mold of a fragrance that you want to excel, you know, in high heat. So had I had this fragrance a couple weeks ago when I recorded that video, I probably would have included it. But nonetheless, again, this one, fairly versatile, can wear really for any season, for any reason, but I think it works best and would kind of be the star of the show, spring, summer, and, you know, warm weather in general. So moving into my final thoughts, first and foremost, I respect the OG. Symphony is a great fragrance. It smells amazing, beautiful presentation, right? Again, I'm someone that has, you know, quite a few niche fragrances, quite a few designer fragrances, but equally, I have quite a few, you know, clone or inspired by fragrances as well. So we'll always say, do what's best for you in your specific situation, right? You make that call, do what works for you. But in this situation here, I will say, if you do like Symphony and have the means to get it, by all means do it. But if you're someone that loves that scent profile, that DNA, but can't quite justify, you know, the price tag that's associated with it, I think Jo Milano's Game of Spades Emerald is an excellent option, an alternative that does smell very similar. It gives you that citrusy, fresh, clean vibe for about a tenth of the price, while still having pretty good quality as well. So that's just me personally. I did really enjoy this one. And just to give you another option as well, in case you know, might come across Game of Spades Emerald and maybe, you know, like it but don't love it and you want something else to maybe potentially, compare it to, Alexandria Fragrances Orchestra is another clone of Louis Vuitton Symphony, and this one is also very good, right? I think it also, really captures kind of the essence and the DNA of Symphony as well. But when comparing these two to each other in terms of which one is better or which one I think is more worth it, I think they're both very solid options, quite honestly. It would just be, whatever your personal preference is. I think they are both very spot on inspirations of the original. Performance is good on both of them. For me personally, I do enjoy Game of Spades Emerald just a bit more. I feel like the cleanliness and that kind of that floral, freshness is just a bit more present in here, and I enjoy that. I think the citruses in here are maybe ramped up just a touch more when comparing these two, but very marginal differences. Again, this is when kind of looking for differences specifically, but all in all, I think these are both very solid options that will save you quite a bit of money if you're someone that enjoys Symphony but maybe don't want to pay that price tag. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you tried Jo Milano's Game of Spades Emerald, or let me know what your favorite Jo Milano Game of Spades fragrance is. Make sure you subscribe for weekly fragrance content, and if you're interested in other great fragrances from Jo Milano, check out this video.